Here's the full English translation of your text. Did you know that Baba Vanga, the most accurate blind seer in history, had a specific vision about a woman who would govern the lands of the eagle and the serpent in the 21st century? A vision that describes with chilling precision what will happen to Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo in November 2025 today. You are going to discover a prophecy that has remained hidden for more than 30 years. A prophecy that reveals the destiny of the first female president of Mexico and how her decision in November 2025 will forever change the course of our country and all of Latin America. But before I reveal to you the exact words that Baba Vanga spoke about Claudia Sheinbaum, you need to understand something fundamental. This Bulgarian seer did not just predict events, she predicted breaking points, moments when the destiny of nations is decided in a single choice, a single action, a single instant. And November 2025 will be exactly one of those moments. Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova, known as Baba Vanga, was born in 1911 in Strumica, North Macedonia. Blind since the age of 12 after a storm that left her without sight, she developed prophetic abilities that astonished the entire world. Her predictions have withstood the test of time with an accuracy rate of 85%, something that defies all scientific explanation. She predicted the sinking of the nuclear submarine Kursk, the September 11th attacks, the 2004 tsunami, the election of Barack Obama as the first African-American president, and Brexit. But there is something very few know. Baba Vanga did not only see isolated events, but entire chains of occurrences that stretched across decades. And among her most secret visions, those revealed only by her niece Krasimira after her death in 1996, there is a specific prophecy about Mexico and a female scientist who would change the destiny of the Americas forever. In 1989, during one of her last documented sessions, Baba Vanga entered a deep trance and pronounced these words, secretly recorded, "I see the lands where the eagle devours the serpent. A woman of knowledge and science will come to power when the new millennium reaches its quarter century. But in the month when the leaves fall and the moon turns red, she will face a decision that will split the American continent in two. 3 paths will open before her: the power that enslaves, the freedom that impoverishes, or the eternity that consumes all." For decades, Baba Vanga's interpreters struggled to decipher this vision. What did the lands where the eagle devours the serpent mean? Who was this woman of knowledge and science? Why specifically when the new millennium reached its quarter century? The answer came on October 1st, 2024, when Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo took office as Mexico's first female president. Suddenly, every word of the prophecy took on a terrifying clarity. The lands where the eagle devours the serpent is a perfect description of Mexico, whose national emblem shows precisely an eagle devouring a serpent. A woman of knowledge and science perfectly describes Claudia Sheinbaum, a doctor in physics with a specialization in energy engineering, internationally recognized as a scientist before entering politics. When the new millennium reaches its quarter century, refers exactly to the year 2025, 25 years after the start of the millennium. But the most chilling part is the reference to the month when the leaves fall and the moon turns red. November, specifically November 15, 2025, when a partial lunar eclipse visible from Mexico will tint the moon a reddish hue. But what exactly did Baba Vanga see about November 2025? The answer lies in another vision, documented by the Bulgarian Institute of Paranormal Research in 1992, classified for decades due to its potentially destabilizing content. The woman of power in the lands of the eagle will meet with emissaries from the north and the south. They will show her 3 chests, one filled with gold that shines but burns, one filled with silver that frees but weighs, and one filled with green stones that grant eternal life but devour the soul. Her choice will determine whether America flourishes united or divides forever. Do you realize the precision? Baba Vanga not only saw the exact moment, but also the nature of the decision Claudia Sheinbaum would have to make. Geopolitical analysts familiar with these secret prophecies believe it refers to an economic and political proposal of enormous proportions, likely related to Mexico's vast lithium reserves, which will be fundamental for the global energy transition. The chest of gold would represent total alliance with the United States, handing over control of Mexico's resources in exchange for immediate political and economic power. But losing national sovereignty, the chest of silver would mean leading an independent Latin American alliance, maintaining freedom but facing enormous economic pressures and possible isolation. And the chest of green stones, jade, sacred to pre-Hispanic cultures, symbolizing eternity, would signify a complete transformation, turning Mexico into a world power, but at a devastating personal cost for the one who makes that decision. What does it mean exactly to grant eternal life but devour the soul? This is where Baba Vanga's visions take an even more dramatic turn. In 1994, 2 years before her death, the Bulgarian Seer described how she saw the Mexican president transform during the events of November 2025. I saw her change before my blind eyes. She was no longer a simple mortal, but a living symbol, a force of nature. But to become what Mexico needed, she had to sacrifice everything human within her. She became eternal in the history books, but lost the ability to simply be a woman. Could this mean Claudia Sheinbaum will become a historical figure of mythical proportions, like the great leaders who transformed nations, but paying an incalculable personal price? The signs that these prophecies are beginning to manifest are already everywhere. Have you noticed how Sheinbaum's presidency has been marked by increasingly bold and independent decisions? Have you observed how Mexico is strategically positioning itself on the world stage in an entirely new way? This is no coincidence. It is the prelude to what Baba Vanga saw more than 3 decades ago. But there is something more, something that could completely change our understanding of these prophecies. In 2019, Baba Vanga's personal archives were finally opened to the public by the Bulgarian government. Among them was a personal diary where she recorded her most intense visions. In an entry dated August 3, 1995, barely a year before her death, she wrote something that will chill your blood. Today, I clearly saw the scientific woman of the eagle and the serpent. She was sitting in a large office, surrounded by flags and symbols of power. 3 men approached her, each carrying a different chest. I could see their worried faces, the weight of the decision. I saw how the destiny of the entire continent depended on which chest she chose to open. Then I saw her years later, when she was already old. If she had chosen the gold, I saw her powerful but alone, sadly remembering what she had lost. If she had chosen the silver, I saw her poor but surrounded by love, proud to have kept her soul. But if she chose the green stones, I saw her transformed into something more than human, venerated like the great leaders of history, but paying the highest price of all. Do you realize how specific this is? Baba Vanga not only saw the moment of the decision, but also its long-term consequences. But the most disturbing vision of all was recorded by Krasimira Stoyanova, Baba Vanga's niece, who was present during a private session in March 1996, just months before the seer's death. Aunt Vanga entered the deepest trance I had ever seen. She began to speak in Spanish, a language she had never learned. She said, "Claudia, daughter of the future, when November of the year 2025 comes, remember that you will not be alone. The souls of all the leaders who came before will be with you. Zapata, Juarez, all will be with you, but the decision will be yours alone. Choose with the heart of your people, not with the mind of the powerful." How is it possible that Baba Vanga pronounced the full name of someone who in 1996 was only an unknown university student? And how did she speak perfect Spanish without ever having learned it? Experts in paranormal phenomena who have studied this case believe Baba Vanga had the ability not only to see the future, but also to communicate directly with the people destined to change the course of history, transcending the barriers of time and space. And if this is true, it means that Claudia Sheinbaum has already received this message, that she already knows what she must do in November 2025, and that her decision is being guided by forces beyond our understanding. But what will that decision be? To answer this question, we must examine Baba Vanga's final vision of Mexico, a vision that describes not only what will happen, but also how it will all end. In her last known recording, made in August 1996, just weeks before her death, Baba Vanga pronounced these prophetic words after the great decision in November. When the moon has shed its red tears over the lands of the eagle, Mexico will rise as never before in its history. The sister nations of the South will follow it like flowers follow the sun, and a new era of 1,000 years of prosperity will begin for all of Latin America. This is the most hopeful vision of all. It suggests that no matter how difficult the decision Sheinbaum must make in November 2025, the final outcome will be positive. That Mexico will not only survive this trial, but will emerge as the leader of a new era on the American continent. A new era of 1,000 years is a clear reference to a golden age, a time of prosperity, peace, and progress that will begin with the decision of the Mexican president and spread throughout Latin America. But here comes the most important part of all. Baba Vanga also saw the role that you, the common people, would play in these events. In one of her last documented visions, the Bulgarian Seer spoke these prophetic words: "It will not be only the woman of power who decides the destiny of America. It will be the voices of millions of ordinary people that guide her hand. Because in times of true change, real power does not reside in palaces, but in the hearts of the people." Do you understand what this means? Your opinion matters. Your support, your energy, your thoughts will influence the decision Claudia Sheinbaum makes in November 2025. Baba Vanga saw that the destiny of Mexico is not only in the hands of its president, but in the hands of all of us. And that is why it is crucial that you know what is coming. That is why it is important you understand the magnitude of what will be decided in November 2025. The signs are already beginning to manifest. Astrologers have confirmed that November 2025 will present an extremely rare planetary alignment, similar to those during other great moments of change in human history. Economists have identified that November 2025 will be the month when several global crises converge, forcing world leaders to make definitive decisions about the future of international trade and control of strategic natural resources. Geopolitical experts are already privately speaking of the November proposal, a plan that will be presented simultaneously to several Latin American leaders, but which will require Mexico to take the lead in order to succeed. Everything fits. Everything converges toward that moment Baba Vanga saw so clearly more than 30 years ago. But there is one last prophecy you need to know, the most important of all. A prophecy that speaks directly to you, about your role in these events that are about to unfold. In her personal diary, in an entry dated November 15, 1995, exactly 30 years before the lunar eclipse of 2025, Baba Vanga wrote, "Those who know the vision before it is fulfilled will have the power to influence its manifestation. The future is not carved in stone, but woven with the threads of collective consciousness. Each person who understands what is at stake will become a guardian of destiny. Do you understand now? By knowing these prophecies, by being aware of what is to come, you have become an active part of Mexico's destiny. Your energy, your intention, your support, or your concern, all are part of the equation that will determine how the events of November 2025 unfold." Claudia Sheinbaum, will not face this trial alone. She will face it backed by the collective consciousness of the Mexican and Latin American people. And you are now part of that informed consciousness, that critical mass of people who know what is at stake. There are only weeks left until November 2025. Weeks until one of the most specific and detailed prophecies Baba Vanga ever made is fulfilled. Weeks to discover which path Mexico's first female president will choose, and how that choice will change the course of history. Will she choose the gold of the North, becoming a powerful ally but losing the essence of Mexico? Will she choose the silver of the South, leading a continental independence revolution but facing enormous challenges? Or will she choose the green stones of eternity, transforming into a legendary historical figure but paying the highest price? The answer we will know very soon. And when that moment comes, when the moon turns red over Mexico and Claudia Sheinbaum faces the most important decision of her life and of our country's history, you will remember these words. You will remember that you were warned, that you were prepared, that you were included in the great plan Baba Vanga foresaw decades ago. Mexico's destiny is about to be written. And by knowing these prophecies, you have become a co-author of that story yet to be born. November 2025 is no longer the future, it is the present approaching inexorably. And when it comes, when Baba Vanga's visions are once again fulfilled with chilling precision, you will know you witnessed the moment when Mexico chose its place in world history. The Mexican eagle is about to take the most important flight of its existence. And Claudia Sheinbaum, the woman of science that the blind Bulgarian seer saw in her visions more than 30 years ago, will be the one to guide those wings toward the destiny that awaits us. The prophecy is revealed. The moment is approaching, and you are now part of the history that is about to be fulfilled. If this video impacted you, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and share it with someone who also needs to know the truth. Because in the coming months, we will witness one of the most transcendental moments in the history of Mexico and Latin America. And all of us have a role to play in how this extraordinary chapter of our collective destiny unfolds.